Welcome to the Real Estate Power Play Podcast, your launch pad for skyrocketing success in real estate investing. I'm your host, Gabe Rodarte, alongside Mark Monroe. We're ready to bring you transformative stories, groundbreaking strategies, and the insider secrets of real estate giants. Get ready to accelerate your investment journey and become a true power player in the world of real estate. Hey guys, what's happening? This is Gabe with the Real Estate Power Play podcast, and today I have an awesome show and an awesome guest for you. I'm excited to bring him on. It's been a couple back and forth to get him on here because he's such a busy guy, but it's going to be a good show. Talking a lot about commercial real estate, commercial brokerage, what's happening in the marketplace, what's happening across the nation in the commercial space. If you're interested in commercial real estate at all, investing, buying, doing your own investment type stuff, doing owner user or brokerage type stuff, this will be the podcast for you to listen to. It's going to be a great show. So without any further delay, the man, Sean Murphy is with us with eXp Commercial. Sean, what's the word, man?
Well, thank you for having me on, Gabe. It's really great to be here with the commercial guy. Love your podcast. Uh, yeah, it's back to back every day right now. And I
Yeah,
know if you go to a typical realtor or real estate advisor, say, "Hey, how's business?" Standard answer is, "Oh, everything's great."
yeah,
It literally is great.
that's
Where
cool.
we had a stagnant year last year in the housing market, went down to about what, 4.3 million sold.
Right.
In commercial, the numbers just came out, and we had a 14% across the board in all product sectors. Some, of course, were
Wow.
much bigger. You know, your warehouse shells, data center shells,
Right.
and industrial storage that went way up. Office and retail, not as much, but across the board average, everything's up, and 14% was our number. So
Wow.
we had a bigger year even at EXP Commercial in revenue wise. So it
Wow.
was actually a really great year. And you always hate to say that
Wow. That's
like in
awesome.
the economic downturn when people are going, "Oh, it's horrible, it's awful out here," and you're crushing it. You don't want to say, "Oh, yeah,
Yeah, you got to watch what you say sometimes when you're at the coffee shops or the cocktail
yeah,
parties and people are like, "What are you doing differently?" Right?
yeah."
So, well, for those who don't know who you are, what you've done, how you got here in this awesome position of what you're doing in the marketplace in commercial with EXP Commercial, all the different stuff. Get us up to date on like how did this even happen? How are you here and what's the story behind it?
Well, I came from 20 years in real estate. I ran the largest franchise office for another company down in San Diego. And at one point, we were doing almost $2 billion of business. And I
Wow.
got a call one day from the president of growth and the chief executive officer at EXP and said, "Want to try something new and different?" And I am a new and different person. I second place is the first loser. I'm a first firm believer in that. So I decided to take the jump. I came to EXP. We had 32,000 agents at that time. I was the vice president of growth, and I built it up with the help of a wonderful person, Amy Weaver, who's another vice president of growth. We built it up to 87,000 people.
Wow.
At that point,
Awesome.
the chief growth officer and Leo Perea, our CEO, said, "Let's do that in commercial." Well, the
Nice.
total addressable market in commercial isn't
Right.
1.5 million NAR members,
Right.
it's much smaller, but
Right.
I love a challenge. I don't like standing on top of a mountain and fending off second, third, and fourth place, challengers. I
Yeah.
love the challenge of climbing the mountain like yourself. So I took on EXP Commercial. I did a lot of commercial at my brokerage prior to EXP. I started out doing commercial. So
Wow.
I said it's more of a business opportunity rather than being the commercial brand. It's how to grow something, how to develop the value proposition in in such a unique model as EXP.
Yeah.
So when I took that on, I'm the head of commercial. I'm the senior vice president of growth for EXP Commercial. There's no president of growth, but uh, when I took it on, I wanted to make, and my business plan is to be the most advisor-centric commercial real estate brand in the world. So, lofty goal.
Lofty goal, but I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
lofty goals, and it's working out. I had to develop something that's never been built before. We are the nationwide, all 50 states, Canada, the UK. We are the nationwide virtual commercial real estate brokerage, and we try to break down the borders.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So you have this background, you build out, something that's in San Diego, and you've been working on that for a while. You come over, EXP, you build that out. So you added on with why your tenure there on just the retail side, an extra, what, 60,000 agents, something like that,
Oh
give or
yeah,
take?
well, from 32 to 87 on the
87.
residential side.
Okay,
And
sweet.
coming over to EXP commercial, it is a different commercial is a different game.
Oh yeah.
We do not sell paint colors and lifestyles.
Yeah.
We sell net operating incomes, cap rates, and square footage.
Yeah.
So you're looking at an determined analyst versus an influential agent
Right. Right.
who wants to tell you how great this neighborhood is,
Yeah.
and it could not show it on a piece of paper if it had to.
I think I like the spreadsheet side of things for sure. As a commercial team that does stuff with the commercial professionals, um, whenever someone brings on something, I think it's funny because you kind of highlighted on it the residential side, and there's probably a ton of residential people that are wondering about commercial and want to do their own investments, their own builds or whatever. Um, the cool part about it is that there's less emotion. There's less of the you're not gonna get a phone call where you're looking for warm. You want a phone call that you're looking for with the real facts, the real data for that property, right? And if that means that you need to go over a triple net number compared to the real NOI, not some fictitious NOI or pro forma, these are real facts. These are things that need to happen, and they need to happen quickly, right? And especially in this market of what we're doing, people want to get their information and move on. You can build friends as you go through this business, and that's the part I love about the commercial side. I think that's one of the things that I get along with you a lot about is we're building businesses. We're building people's lives and businesses. I know that there's an aspect to the retail side or the residential, you're helping people build out their lives in their homestead and stuff like that. But here, I mean, you're either doing owner user or you're basically an investor. That's the only, you're either a your capital group, or you're just getting started, you're just doing your first builds or new developments. But those are really the two sides. And both of them have a business mindset, right? And
Mhm.
so you deal with these guys all the time. This is your niche. This is what you're working on. What just to kind of pivot to what we're doing now with the commercial professionals, we're an EXP group with what you're doing. Um, what are you seeing happening with brokerage in general in the commercial space? Are you seeing that, man, it's just growing like all get out, or are you seeing the guys that really put their nose to the grind and it's kind of a grinder season? Or what are we coming out of, and what do you see us getting into?
Yeah, it's not too far off of what's happening in residential real estate. You're seeing a consolidation. Uh,
Got it.
you would be hard pressed to find a brokerage owner that would say, "Oh yeah, real estate brokerage is huge gross margin." No, real estate brokerages operate on a very thin margin. So EXP works because of its scale. We we
Right.
we do not have this gigantic gross profit margin.
Right.
It's a realistic gross profit margin, but it's times 350,000 transactions.
Yeah.
So you look at what's going on out there in the commercial brokerage world. You look at Sperry Global selling to Sea Glass Holdings. You have
Wow.
transitions happening out there. I talk to every day 5 to 40 person commercial real estate brokerages that are looking to expand their database. We have 82,000 realtors in our sister brokerage. I do want to point out we are a separate brokerage from EXP
Yeah.
Residential or EXP Realty, but there's 82,000 referral partners to advertise to and to get referrals from. So we have that huge referral network. We cut all of their admin expenses. We do the accounting, we do the oversight, we do the compliance, we do the technology negotiations. We're at a size where I can negotiate with CoStar, with Build Out,
Right.
with Crexy, and get stellar rates on that stuff where you can't do it as an independent. Big thing, we don't cost a lot. And as you know, if you're a top producing advisor, we don't cost anything.
Right.
You pay a cap at EXP, you hit your cap, you hit your normal GCI income and 500,000 or whatever, and you get your cap back in a stock
Yeah.
award. So these top producing brokerage owners go, oh, how much is it going to cost me to be there? Well, weirdly enough, nothing. And they, what?
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, I had that same question when I first met Glenn. I was like, how do you run this company? Where's the
Yeah.
money? So the brokerage world is one of, there's the huge successes. They're working with their family offices and have a great network. And there's the training camps. And you always have the big houses where there's one stellar team leader who's making millions of dollars and he's got five marketing juniors and a couple of research juniors. A bunch of people are making
Right.
30%. And that's the way it's always been. We want to change that. And
Yeah.
we are changing it.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And to for those who don't know, we are the Commercial Professionals is my brokerage, and I know that a lot of people through this podcast have seen me and Mark go through this journey from 2020 of like what we have done from creative financing, buying properties, doing sub two, doing all types of stuff. Doing debt servicing by taking other people's like and commercial buildings, we can take over their debt on their buildings and then reposition it. We've done so many things like that. And here we are. I'm with my buddy Adam. We have the commercial professionals. We're EXP, and we're just clipping along. And I can tell you, like, there is some really cool aspects of EXP. I mean, I was just sharing with my wife the other day. Sorry. I was like, hey, look at my stock, right? So she's like, oh wow, that's cool.
I get
So
a
it's
new kitchen. Yay.
yeah, yeah. So I was like, wow, look at that. And so it's really cool to see through that. If that's something, and I don't think that a lot of people, um, a lot of commercial brokers, I don't know if they even think about that whenever you talk to them and whatnot, but I don't know if that's something that they think about. But I'm like, hey, it's another strategy investment. It's kind of a forced savings account in a sense where it's out of sight, out of mind. You close some good deals, move that money over. You don't really see it. I go back and I double check and I make sure that all my numbers are right. And okay, yep, that money is there. Cool. And then I move on. It's not
You're
something
an
to camp
excellent
out on.
underwriter.
What's that?
You're an excellent underwriter. Knowing your numbers, knowing your performance is key.
Yeah. Yeah, that is key. And so let's dive into some of that of what you're seeing for this coming season, right? The market is definitely in a cool pivot, was what we
Mhm.
call it. I think we're kind of on like the tail end of the next section and we're entering into this whole new wave is from what we see a lot of dry powder. I was with another broker who's going to come on our team and we're both talking about that, especially in like the retail shopping centers, industrial warehousing. We're seeing a lot of dry powder. We're seeing clients and we're seeing investor friends of mine that are just they're almost just like hopping on deals at this point because they're like it's so close. It's not a deal yet, but it's so close. So we're
It's
seeing
a
these
it's a
things right
strong
now.
LOI.
Yeah. Yeah.
Strong, strong
Yeah.
letter of intent.
Yeah.
Uh, I see some really odd stuff that is just going through the roof right now. And everybody goes, I'm going to move on data centers or data shells, which could be a shopping center. It's all dependent on your access of power, your square
Right.
footage. The big guys are buying up farmland at 4 times the agricultural value, and they're building million square foot data centers. But you have the co-op data centers that really go into existing warehouse or existing office space or retail.
Yeah.
So that is a market, and it's up 25%. Selling a modern infrastructure warehouse with access to power is up 25%. It's a good sector to be in, but it's going to get saturated really fast. We're seeing huge movement on indoor, outdoor, and industrial storage. That's going up a lot.
Nice.
and distressed. And what I mean by distressed is we're hitting the debt maturity wall. Everybody refinanced in 2021 and 2022 because you
Yeah.
were at 2.5, 3, 4%.
Yeah.
And now they're at double that or triple that.
Yeah.
And they can't refinance. They can't afford the payments on a refinance. So previously in 2024 and 2025, the banks were extending or forgiving and just going under the terms that they were currently on. But we're going to rip the Band-Aid off. Banks are no longer doing that. Investors no longer tolerate that. So you have $1.6 billion of debt. No, sorry. Let's change that B to a T. $1.6 trillion
Brilliant.
of debt that will mature this year in the next 12 months. So when you call somebody, you're not really saying, hey, are you thinking about selling? Your question is, who do you have that's going to
Yeah.
recapitalize your property because
Yeah.
you have no choice. They have no choice. And you can go into anywhere, into a CoStar or a database and see whose debts are maturing. This is an easy conversation. They have no choice or it will go to foreclosure. And I have an agent in Los Angeles, and that's all he's doing is pre-foreclosure, distressed foreclosure, and he's doing well. He just closed
Nice.
an $11.5 million one last week. He's doing well, which tells me if he's doing well, that means that there are properties out there that are in distress.
Yeah.
So you could really just call up anybody who's hitting the debt wall on their loan and say, can I help you raise the capital or find the buyer or liquidate the property? Because they have to do one of those,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I think that's and I'm so glad you brought that up because I don't know, it's kind of a buzz thing, the CMBS debt. But if you're not in the loop, you're not in the loop. Like you don't know. And what's interesting, it's on the news, but the way that it's structured, it's almost like there's a gap of information, right?
Hmm.
There's that gap of going, well, what exactly is that? So to go back through with what Sean was saying, um, there's CMBS debt that's coming due. People refinance out or they had a loan from 2020, who knows when, very low cost basis. The rate was lower. Now they got to go in, that note's due. And notes on commercial are normally 3, 5, 7, 10 years. That's typical where they're at. And the ones that Sean's talking about, which is very true, those are normally 5 to 7. There's not a lot of 10-year that was from, let's see, 2026. So that'd be 2016, right? Normally they've already refinanced out probably in 2020 or at the height. And so that's what people don't see sometimes is the height was in 2020, 2022. So they're refinancing. So that means and correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, but you got a $7 million property in 2020 and now went up to maybe nine, maybe $10 million property in 2022, 2021. So they pulled that money out, right? Whatever they could, 2 million, 1.7 million. They pulled that money out, but they pulled it at this rate. And now what are we looking at? Right. So some of that stuff's coming to due from they did the same thing back in 2020 and all these other years. So my point is, and what Sean's saying is the dry powder that we've been seeing is the powder that's saying, I want that type of property. I want that type of debt. I want that type of distress. And that's what he was mentioning. His friend of his in California is really just crushing it because he knows how to do those things.
Hmm.
I think it's kind of a lost art too. I think that over the last 5 years, because that wasn't there, it wasn't a need. A lot of many people don't know how to go after that type of product, right?
No,
And so,
nobody knows how to attack the distressed market. A lot
right,
of, unfortunately, in commercial real estate, I think our average advisor in commercial is about 62 years old. Well, those guys retired out.
right,
Speaking of retired out, look at business brokering and business properties uh, that are owned by 75-year-old people.
yep,
You have $4.5 trillion of businesses that are owned by retired people that they also have to change hands. Some of them aren't even live, some of them aren't even viable anymore. Uh,
wow,
I
I didn't know that. So 4.5 trillion.
4.5 trillion. It's the largest opportunity in commercial real estate and business intermediate, being a CBI, certified business intermediary, talk with them all the time. A friend of mine is in San Diego right now doing a pitch on a $15 million business that they just want to sell. And the question is, why do you want to sell? And they said, well, dad retired and
Yeah.
junior doesn't want to run it.
Yeah.
So we're going to sell it. We're going to sell it. $8 million of that is the property. The rest is the business.
Yeah.
So it's huge. Our business brokerage at EXP Commercial is growing faster than any sector. Most of the big commercial teams and most of the big real estate teams, our biggest teams, have a business broker in their portfolio. What does a
Yeah.
realtor want to say? I sell pretty houses. Wouldn't it be great if it says, I could sell you a house, I can negotiate your investment sales opportunity, and I can broker a business. It's better
Yeah.
to put all that on an advertisement. You definitely think that that advisor had a lot more going on than I'm your neighborhood specialist. So,
That that's
you know,
so cool
we,
that you said that. We have a business brokerage arm that we've had
yep.
for years, and the last year it's been like upward momentum on it. Actually, the brokers that we bring on, they go, "Hey, by the way, every one of them, Sean, every one of them that wants to be part of our team's like, hey, do you guys sell businesses?" And I'm like, well, yeah, we actually have a whole arm of that we do, and we can bring you on to that. And they're like, I got a property, or I got an industrial warehouse, or mom doesn't, dad passed away, or mom passed away, or this would happen. Look, guys, life does happen. We built most of our portfolio with Mark and I off of distressed assets. That's how we got going. We went to other realtors and said, who do you know that just wants to move on? I can help them out. Um,
Lifetime subscription to Property Radar.
yeah, there you go. So these things have helped us tremendously. And now I look at this, Sean, of what you just got done saying, and I didn't know that's guys for it's hard to even put trillion into like a number, like for people to really grasp what that is, right?
Mhm.
But to go over like, is that just commercial assets or that broker? That's like businesses, the
That
full.
is businesses. That
Wow.
that does not, well, in most cases, it doesn't involve the commercial property. I mean, if you look at your typical retail business, your typical auto shop, they're leasing space.
Yeah.
So you do the opportunity there is at EXP Commercial, we have business brokers that do business and also work the property deal or the
Yeah.
lease and do
Yeah.
the tenant rep. We have some people that just do the business. Uh, our newest icon agent, and if you don't know what that, I'd just say, he's made over $1 million in the last year. He niches out in one business in the southern half of one of our least populated states. And he made
Wow.
$1 million last year, just negotiating the business.
Yeah.
And he taught me, if you want to get rich, you got to find your niche. And the niche is very small, but the smaller you get, the more you specialize, the more you get known in
Yeah.
that industry. I have
Yeah.
a guy in Southern California that just goes around to auto shops, blue collar shops, and almost, I hate to say profiles, but looks at the age of the owner or the guy twisting the wrench and says, are you about done? How about, we don't do what's my property worth in the business broker world. You say, how about I give you a free evaluation of what your business is worth?
Yeah.
And they find out one of two things. It's worth a ton and it's time to retire, especially when your spouse sees how much money you
Right.
pull out of this business and just walk off into the sunset,
Right.
or it's not worth anywhere near what you think it's worth. And you want to not come there anymore because it's not worth your time. You
Yeah.
don't see,
And
you don't
they
see
know
the
it.
light at the end of the
They know it.
tunnel.
Oh yeah.
And if you're fixing Humvees for a living, you know, to say they're not making any new ones.
Yeah.
So, and the new ones they are making
Yep.
are electric. So your time in this business is short. Uh, we just look at properties and business categories that don't have a long future. You did, it's like the VCR repair shop.
Yeah.
They're going to sell the property. The business
Yeah.
is almost not worth
That's
anything.
typically the stuff that we do. I mean, so we have, I think, three auto shops, oddly enough, that you mentioned that.
Yep.
And every one of them, the last one, or one that we have, I went to go walk it and I asked him, one of our other team members have it. It's one of their family friends, I guess. I go, what are your thoughts? He goes, man, Gabe, it's just not as fun as it used to be. He's he's in his 50s. He's not like wanted. He's like, I could do so much more not having all of this. So I
Yep.
just want to get rid of the building. I just want to sell this. I need to make my money. I'm ready to move on. And that yeah, this and we're hearing that repeatedly, and I don't know what it was like 5 years ago because I wasn't in this side of the business 5 years ago. But right now, I hear this quite consistently. Even big businesses. I got a guy who does all types of new build construction for housing. He has an awesome develop, like awesome building. It's probably like over 100,000 square feet. The whole system he has for putting in all these different, he has 50 different crews going to new build homes. And man, amazing guy. And he's like, I should have listened to you. I should have sold in 2022. And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
I was
And
like,
it's like the
okay.
housing market. Everybody wants what they could have got 2 years ago.
Yeah. He's like,
Now
man,
even the best markets, my market, San Diego, the saying here is the first to grow and the last to go. So if San Diego's having a bad time, you can imagine that Phoenix and Vegas
yeah.
and Dallas and Houston aren't having a great time either.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, so we see this stuff. There's opportunity, is what we're telling y'all. For those who are listening, there is opportunity in commercial real estate for high level groups and low level. If you're just getting started in commercial, Sean really highlighted it, and it's something that I fail flat on the beginning was really pick a sector. So what did I do? Sean, all I did was I go, I already have these houses. I already have a couple like tiny home parks, and I have this other. I said, I know this mobile home parks, storage
Yeah.
facility. This is where my mind goes next. So all I did was just hunt and hunt. And I would just call people and I call brokers and I call agents and I call as the investor buyer and I would just hunt for deals. And then I started getting some. I'm like, man, but I was zeroed in, man. I mean, I knew I had to get it by 90 days because I was challenging my buddy and I. He now has 10 storage facilities and he's doing fantastic. And, we're building out all the stuff that we have and developments and mobile home parks. But that was my niche.
Yeah,
And I
the
think
mobile
that
home park's the best niche in the world. Look at the cash flow on that. Look at your anchor tenant.
they cash,
Nobody's going to move their house every year. So
they cash flow
they
well.
drop their house on your property on
They
a
can.
lease.
And both sides. I know that we have guys that love to hold on to the houses, and we have guys who like to just hold on to like I'm a pad guy. I don't like I came from residential. I came from doing 6 to 10 flips at a time. So I was like, I don't want to maintain the mobile homes anymore. Those I don't want to do that anymore. But holding the pads, love it. And so anytime I see an opportunity for that, guys, there's cash flow in it. And you're talking about someone if you're looking at Texas, you're probably looking at 350 to 450 up to $500 a pad, and you put about 10 or 20 pads out there and you're working it effectively and you're keeping it clean and whatnot. People will come and they'll drop it out on there. They're totally fine because
Yeah.
people have to live somewhere. They're good with it. It's a great sector. Um, but to go back, and I just want to highlight that on your find your niche, find your aspect of it. What is something you would tell like a newer, I mean, I know you mainly work in the brokerage commercial world, but what have you been telling them lately? Because I mean, either they work on a team or they're solo. It's tough to do solo starting in commercial. It's almost impossible. You're gonna get hit a lot. It's gonna be a long journey.
Yep. So solo agents that are successful already have their database. They already know what they're going to do.
Got it.
I talked to a guy that sells mineral rights in the Permian Basin, and
Wow,
he was taking a mobile home park,
that's awesome.
and he said, "What's your suggestion?" I said, "If you don't already have a buyer, don't take it. If your plan is to take it and put it on a listing syndication service like a Crexy or a LoopNet, I go, don't take it
Yeah,
because there are people out there that already have the buyers. You're repping a tire store, you're repping an auto shop business. You need to already know who's going to buy that. And that you really grow. I tell new agents, most commercial advisors spent their time at the sweatshops or the brick and mortars where they made 1,000 phone calls to landlords, or they went out and did, broker opinion of values on tons and tons of properties before they even got the opportunity to represent a client.
Yeah.
So if you're coming into the business, we have a program at EXP. If you're coming into the business, join an experienced commercial team. This isn't like some of those brick and mortars that are you're only going to make 25% or you're going to take a draw off of anything you create or we'll give
Right.
you a fee per warm lead.
Right.
EXP has very low fees for their commercial advisors. Our team leaders, very experienced. Join a team at, a group, a commercial group, learn the business. They'll help you get the lead source. You already have 82,000 built-in lead sources. You have 82,000 residential real estate agents that when they hear mixed use, industrial, IOS, they don't even know what to say. They just go, Sean, who do you know in Houston that knows how to sell IOS, whatever that is? I get those
Yeah.
calls every single day. We
Wow.
have a really robust referral system, but I have dozens and dozens of EXP advisors that make their livings solely off of referrals. This company, how many, this, Gabe, how many times have you seen a salty old commercial real estate agent or real estate advisor join a brokerage just because they think that brick and mortar brokerage with 60 to 100 people in it's going to provide them all their leads?
Right.
They're like, I'm going to be the sole source for the referrals. And it works to some degree. Now, multiply that by 82,000 people. We roughly have
Yeah.
100 residential real estate agents per every EXP commercial advisor. You have a pool of
Wow.
referral sources that can't be
Yeah.
beat. I have guys that close $4 million a month in volume.
Yeah.
And because of that, people are joining their revenue share groups and their teams because they want to replicate that. It
Right. That
is
makes sense.
literally free money. And I would say join a team. We have a really great director of brokerage operations. We have a really great academy. We have awesome mentors, but the statistics say you will be more successful if you join a successful team.
Yeah.
You'll likely be 2 to 5 times more successful. When we did it at EXP, team members were 5 times more productive than individuals starting off in this business. So if you really want to
Absolutely.
crush it, join a
It's
Gabe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Join us. Yeah, we tell our team a couple things. One, when I talk to someone who's new now, or even someone who's experienced, Sean, I'll just go, look, you're not just joining us moving forward because it normally comes down to splits or what do we pay this and that and stuff. And at the end of the day, I'm going, listen, we've been around for a while. You're joining the brand, right?
Hmm.
You're joining what we're already accomplishing and how much we've accomplished in this timeline, the marketing that comes in, the stuff that we do, the at bats. And that's really what Sean's talking about. That I also see in the investor side too. There's some ballers, Sean, that you probably know too, they're not brokers, but man, their at bat rating is so good going to distressed people,
Yep.
going to business owners, going to distressed property that is just tired. And there's tired landlords in the commercial side just as much as residential. And
Hmm.
so but their at bats are super high. So if you're a newer, Sean's definitely talking about brokerage model, but if you're definitely newer in that commercial space, you like a broker or you're getting into the investor side, I think the thing where I think I told you this before. I used to represent a group that would look through all shopping centers. And there was a time that I knew every shopping center from Texas to North Carolina. And I was so proud of myself at that time. Like I was like, man, I know all these centers that are on the market. Oh my gosh. And I built such a good uh relationships. I got friends that are in Detroit, Florida, all over the states that just from phone calls, just from getting those at bats, just from putting stuff in. If I need something, or if I got a client, or they have a tenant, or I have something else going on, I'm like, hey, I got this off today. Yesterday, I get a call. I got two properties. They're going to be off market. They're from a contact through doing all these at bats, Sean, from a guy in like Minnesota area. And so, and do I know that guy through another group of people? And all it was just a daisy chain of who do you know? And that took
Mm.
about 6 months. And then now, not that I planned it, it's not like I'm over here going, hey, Sean, who do you know? Who do you know? Who do you know?
Mhm.
It just happens. If you do it enough, it eventually starts coming in. But again,
Turns into who knows you.
there you go.
Mhm.
But as far as the database goes, I think that's where a lot of people kind of get stuck of going, man, I don't know. I just love this business. I
Oh
love
yeah,
real
it's
estate.
it's the best business in the world. I was in Roatan, which is an island off the coast of Honduras.
Yes.
A nice little resort, and I
I mean, we're talking about vacations
went
now.
up
Is
the
that where we're
bar to
going?
grab my barbecued shrimp and a fruity drink for my
Yep.
wife, and said, "Hey, how you doing?" And he's going, "Oh, doing great." And I heard him. I just overheard it. They were talking about their vacancy rate, and I said, you guys do commercial real estate?" He goes, "No, I own some commercial properties." I go, "Where?" And he said, in San Diego County, California. I go, "My name's Sean Murphy." He goes, "Oh my gosh, you've called me like 10 times." He owns in my hometown. We actually
Wow.
sat down there and talked about getting him new tenants. And I'm
Wow.
on an island off the coast of Honduras, 1,000 miles
I
away from
love it.
it. And it's very small world. It sounds like
It is a small world.
70,000 commercial real estate advisors nationwide is a huge number, but it's not. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very small. And business intermediaries, there's probably only 1,600 of them in the country. It's very
Wow.
small.
Wow. I
So
didn't know
if you
that.
run into a good agent, you'll know it because he's called you before
Yeah.
about your investments. If you run into a good commercial advisor, you'll go. And we have our one of our top advisors always says, in this business, you have to get to the who knows you portion of it. You
Yeah.
have to be so prolific that people start recognizing you by name or by your annoying phone calls or by your social media, presence. How many people have called me because they saw an Instagram post or a LinkedIn post?
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh gosh, you must know some realtors. You have like 82,000 of them." I go, I know a lot of realtors.
I know a few.
I got a few. And it's weird. I got a very expensive first rate automatic referral program where you put in the city you want, you put in, the product specialty, and it tells you who's in that area that does it. I don't think anyone uses it. They all call me. I probably got a call while we were on this. "Hey, who do you know in Houston that
Yeah.
does mobile home parks?"
Yeah.
They could have just looked and they would have found you, but no,
Yeah.
they call me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. Who knows you? And that's really how this goes. I think the you have a level of success if you can just make well, I tell my team, I tell everybody, if you can get all your answers in just two phone calls, just remind yourself when you had to make 30,
Hmm.
right? And how much hours and time that took. Like if you can get the developer or the economic developer of the area or the county seat or whoever that you need to talk or electrician from whoever. And you could do that within two phone calls and you can make those, man, you got
Well,
to remind yourself.
in our holding company at EXP Realty, the number one agent in the country last year was Kyle Whistle with the Whistle Beer Group. And he once told me the secret to success is knowing who to call when things go wrong. He goes,
Yeah.
and it's tough. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got a 2,000 person org chart. Trying to find the right person
Yeah.
is tough for me, let alone one of our agents
Yeah.
or a client. But once you figure out your shortcut to solving problems, and I always say, Coach Burt in Nashville, he has the saying on the wall: money changes hands when problems are solved.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe that.
That's true. Michael Burt. Yeah.
Michael Burt.
Yeah. That's, I was going to say, yeah. And guys, you want to be that person, right? You got to figure out how to be that person. And that's why niching down. When I niche down, I just did mobile homes and then I expanded to storage, industrial, knowing retail, got involved in retail, became a problem solver there. I'm actually working with the national tenant. He just called me and said, "Hey, I see your YouTube stuff." I was like, "Well, what do you need?" And they're like, "No, no, no, no. Just we got it already taken care of. Send over the documents. I already know what you're going to do." And I'm like, "Oh." So, I mean, think about that gap that it would take somebody else figuring out all the stuff. You got to get the paperwork, you got to talk to them. And he's like, "No, no, no, I already know who you are. I just want you to represent me in this transaction."
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's game changer. And now we have a team because I can't field all these things anymore. And now we have a team that we're helping do that with to go, hey, when this stuff happens, this is how we go through that process. But I think that that's like really the name of this podcast. Who knows you?
Yeah.
You know?
It's the truth. And you look at everything an investor or an investment group does, and a homeowner for that matter, is try to gain enough information to minimize the probability that they're messing up. I need to get enough information about Gabe Rodarte to satisfy my brain that I'm not making a huge mistake because everybody's done it.
Yeah.
I was talking to my father in Tucson, and I said, who sold your last house? And they went, oh my gosh, we fell for it. We went with the TV ad. It was the worst experience of our lives. Did you call anybody? And they said, no, we they looked good. They said the right thing. It was all marketing. It was the worst experience of our entire
Yeah.
lives. The house sat on the market forever, no showings. All and I
Yeah.
went, yeah. And I said, you need to talk to other people. You need to talk to people in the industry. And once you're reasonably sure that you're making the least possible bad decision,
Yeah.
that's when you'll move. Everything you encounter, every pitch session I go to, every listing appointment I go to, it's to quell the seller or investor's fears that they're making a poor decision.
Yeah.
All the paper I show them,
Yeah.
all of my marketing material, all of my track record, it's to calm their nerves.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they just call you up like you. Yeah, I saw you on YouTube. I'm going to use you. You're cool.
Yeah.
And you could do,
Yeah.
I'm an AI character. Did you know that?
Yeah. Man, nowadays it is pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, man, you were mentioning something that I want to connect with you on. There's a lot of other synergies. Um, what is something that you can, because I'm stuck on this who knows you thing. Um, what would you tell like a newer investor who's early 20s, maybe 30s that are just kind of like you see the dynamic of what commercial has been over the last 25 years. What would you share with them and saying, "Hey, look, this is where there's some skill sets that you need to really know in this kind of market."
Well, the nightmare is always the new investor. Somebody who's gonna look at every multifamily or every warehouse on the planet before they make a decision because they're terrified that they're making a bad decision. I would say go in with it's an investment. You do not have to be the sole investor. Go in with somebody with experience.
That's good.
Go find an experienced group. Your group, the commercial professionals, Brandon Brittingham, people who are doing commercial investment as a group with decades of experience. Get
Yeah.
your feet wet there. Go in and buy a multifamily with three other people that have a huge history of success in multifamilies. Go if you're going to invest in land, go buy some mineral rights to go with it so it pays for itself. But you do your research to a point, but I will tell you the reason I'm at EXP was that the top four teams in my market, one of them in my company, left with a third of the volume of the office, by the way, and they went to EXP. You almost didn't need to do any analysis of the brokerage because you knew that the four top team leaders and brokerage owners had vetted this thing like crazy. I'm like,
Right.
how bad could I be messing up if $4 billion just went there?
Yeah.
So
That's pretty
and
good.
and that's what I'd do. I would follow success. Success leaves clues, and it leaves clues with successful people. This brokerage is an entrepreneurial brokerage. If you want to be an employee, go to one of the big houses. You'll walk in the door, you'll sweep the floors for a while, then you'll be a marketing or research assistant, then you'll be a junior. You'll kick open buildings, do showings, prepare presentations, and eventually you'll become capable of working with a client. You can do that route, but you're an employee. You're an employee,
Right.
100%. This is for people who want to build their own business. The commercial professionals is the business. Gabe doesn't go around saying, I'm EXP Corporation. You don't see commercials about EXP. We are the platform to enable success. If you want to do capital raises, great, do it here. If you want to own a closing company or a title company, great, do it here. If you want to own a mortgage company, great, do it here. We are in the, I'll say what our CEO says. We're in the unit closing business. We're the first of its kind mega brokerage, and we don't push the side hustles that the other people use. Our mortgage company because it's really paying the bills, use our marketing company because it's really paying the bills. No, we pay the bills by closing properties and agents paying a small cap. That's it.
That's it.
That's
That's it,
it.
man. And I love it. I love the whole entrepreneur thing. I love the whole aspect of thing. I think that's where a lot of us are moving forward to in this marketplace. I think there's so much, and we've already gone through the, um, that bidders type of marketplace. What do you call it? Wherever I'm going.
The big freeze.
No, not that. I totally just lost track of what I was trying to say, but where the market where people are looking at what am I doing for a side hustle? What am I doing? What else can I do? What else can I learn now that I can pivot into? And commercial is one of those things where once you get going, man, it can really provide not just a good lifestyle, but a good investment strategy. But it takes someone to partner with you. And that's the part that we're talking about right now is like, and I'm not trying to do a pitch thing over EXP, guys. You could do whatever brokerage you guys want, but I am saying that I didn't know that you need to be in the path of progress. And to end with this, I had a property I still have. And when I bought it, I was kind of nervous on buying it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna buy it. And all the metrics made sense, but I just kind of wanted a outside. So I brought over an investor buddy of mine. He knew a little bit more than I did about the area. And after he got done sharing, I thought, okay, numbers look good. This looks good. And I go, yeah, I'm not really sure about like, is this gonna hold value, Sean? And he goes, look through, we look up the map, and he goes, well, Gabe, all I know is you're in the path of progress. It's not here yet. And I'm like, thanks a lot, man. And sure enough, he was right. I'm glad I held on to it because the progress moved in that direction. And I just take that as a parallel to brokerage. If you are interested in doing stuff like that, or I mean, even on the lender brokerage model, like anything where you're in between and you're moving the paper. If you're that guy that's in between stuff, it might seem like a grind, but man, you're in the path of progress. You know the movers. People on Wall Street that do these calls, cold calling to Wall Street, trying to win their business, high capital people, um, they got to grind it out in so many different ways. And it's just a phone call and a freaking spreadsheet that you're trying to share with them how much you can get a better return. This is real tangible assets. These are things that people can see and want to walk with you and want to go through this stuff. And if you're in that path of progress, I'll be honest, I didn't think it was going to be as fun as I thought it is now. I mean, it is. I got a call later on this afternoon. I got a guy who's I got a national guy that's going to be, we're going to do a development thing. He needs 80,000 square feet. I got all these things. I wouldn't have been able to do that before. I didn't even know these people existed, right?
Yep.
I was just trying to do my own investments. And now I'm going, hey, you know what? So I think that would be my takeaway is like learn to get in the path of progress, right?
Yeah, I
Learn.
was I was listening to a podcast and I read it because the sound was off for a second, and it actually said more Americans now have we have a larger stake in investments than we do in properties in homes. We've moved
Wow.
homes used to be the number one
Right.
investment in the United States, and now the average America is more invested in stocks and investments that
Wow.
they want to return on their value, return on their investment that exceeds what their house. Yeah, most people, you get a good house, you're not selling it. You
No.
can't realize any cash. You don't have any cash flow. So we're moving into a different type of world. It's not the better to rent than own world, but it's definitely be invested in something that is making your money work for you. That
Yeah.
dollar needs to wake up and hit the gym every morning.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that, man. I like that. Guys, this has been awesome. Sean, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a very, very busy guy. How can people get a hold of you if they're just kind of looking at, what you're doing and what you guys provide?
It's easy. The word growth at expcommercial.com. So growth at expcommercial.com. I get it. My director of growth gets it. Our schedule gets it. All our onboarding people get it. And
Sweet.
that lights up every morning. I get 50 or 60 growth at expcommercial.coms every day, and every one of them gets answered immediately. It is the most immediate thing in the world. If you want to just talk, I'll fire you over a link and we can pop on a Zoom or video call or a phone call anytime you want. I love, people think we're weird, Gabe, but real estate's actually my hobby. They go, "What's your hobby?" "Well, I don't build toy ships and not much into landscaping or gardening. No, real estate is actually my hobby. I talk about real estate on weekends. That scares most people, but my best friends are real estate advisors.
Yeah.
You have to live in the life. I will tell you the one thing that Gabe said that holds absolutely true. So I don't have to do this. Gabe doesn't have to do this. It's actually fun. If you don't go to work and go, that was awesome. We crushed that. Somebody I brought into EXP 1 month ago, just went on a $15 million listing presentation, called me like he just got off a roller coaster. That was so awesome.
Yeah.
I crushed it. It was great. He's probably, I don't know what he's gonna do now because he's about 50 miles from me, but he is on cloud nine right now.
That's
He's
cool.
calling everybody he knows. Guess what I just did? It's like going parachuting. This is actually fun if you do it right with the right people.
Yeah.
If you go to your office and you sit down in a meeting and you have to roll your eyes more than once, get out of there.
Yeah.
Go do something fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you only live once, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this show. If you need to get a hold of us, you know how to get a hold of us. Just contact us, text us, message us. Mark's available. I'm available. We're happy to help you through your real estate investing journey. My name's Gabe Rodarte, and we'll see you later. Peace.